You are my sunshine, my only Some say parents make us who we are, but my dad made everything. Don't rave, call Dave was the slogan for his fix-it business when he retired from the Marine Corps. But people have been calling him to build or repair things since his childhood. I asked him recently what was the first thing he remembers making.
Okay, I think I remember making when I was a little boy I'd get a big thick piece of bark, pine bark, and I carved a boat about so long. And I took an old pocket watch and took the balance wheel out of it and rigged up a drive shaft and a propeller on it, and I made the boat, and I lined the watch up to put the little water in and run the boat.
David Shoemaker even lived up to the family name, repairing shoes for his brothers and sisters throughout his high school years, since they could only afford one pair a year and wore them out walking the 2 miles to school. Everyone has a story to tell about what Dave has made for them over the years, especially my mother.
I think a couple of the things that he made that the children enjoyed most, one was a little rocking horse, just as cute as he could be, and the other was a little red wagon, and that little red wagon was used many, many times.
Dave and Mary Love have 3 children, the notorious 3 little shoes, 6 grandchildren, and now there are 3 great-grandkids plus 1 on the way. That's a lot of toy orders for Dave's workshop.
My favorite things that Grandpa has made for me are my stilts that he made when I was, I guess, around maybe 10, 12 years old, somewhere in there. They were just simple stilts. It was a piece of wood, a long pole, several feet long, and then a shorter, wide block of wood at the base.
In addition to gadgets, Dave has been making furniture since necessity called. The birth of their first child meant they needed a crib, and that very crib is still in the family and ready for action 62 years later.
Before making the crib, I had to make a table saw to make the crib with. So I ordered parts from Papa Mechanics and got the metal pieces, and I made the wooden table and the wooden other pieces, and I used it to cut the wood to make the baby crib. I bought the dowels, and I drilled all the little holes with a hand auger, all the uprights, and made all the hardware, made all the lifts. They had a lift drop side and just complete.
If you asked my girls what was their favorite thing that Grandpa made for them, I bet they'd say the playhouse that he built in our backyard. They spent hours in there exercising their imaginations. Dave also keeps up with current technology. Here's a recent project.
Let me show you how it operates.
Okay.
See, I'm up close, and I need more space in this one now. And then we'll do that. The TV screen's too far away from it.
Oh, so that's on a moving shelf too. Wow, that's great.
So we'll move right up to me, see?
Dave refuses to let time stop his making. Now 92 years young, he still drives to the store for supplies and keeps tools at the ready. And he's comfortable with the digital age, using cell phones and the internet to keep up with the family. He reads his books on Kindle and chats on Facebook. He's been slowed down by Parkinson's lately, so he retaught himself how to knit to improve his manual dexterity and made himself a fire engine red scarf and cap. Dave and Mary Love met in 1943, and their marriage is the best thing they've made together. Dave was always a family man, enjoying his children, his grandchildren, and now his great-grandkids. Dave and Mary Love, what an amazing pair. Dave has traded in his tricycle for an electric scooter these days, and my mom uses a walker or a wheelchair, but they're still together, still happy, and still inspiring us to make something of our lives.